Hey guys, welcome back. This is episode number 8. Okay. She over there with the numbers with her fingers. So cute. So you already know the goal is to break the image of tradition
while showing the beauty of walking in wisdom,
bringing it raw and keeping it 100.
With Christ at the center, you're either going to hate it or love it.
And you have just tuned in to Hate It or Love It. I am your host, Vanessa, and this is my co-host,
Clarissa Bell.
You know what? I feel like I'm done with that. Like, everybody knows I'm Silly V, right? That's already, but people
you're not going to do the pew 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 no more?
I think I'm going to stop.
Oh, well, hello to adulting. It looks good on you, mama.
Okay, but no, but real, because, like, I feel like it's already, what? Did I mess it up with the tongues?
No, you're good. What are we talking about today?
We're going to talk about me. So, look, I really rarely like to, no, I'm just playing. So, today, I seen you, like, wrap it up, bitch. Like, we don't need to go that deep.
I already told you what it was.
Today, we are going to talk about the hot topic. You guys already know Kanye and Candace came out with the White Lives Matter. So, we're going to go ahead and, you know what? I ain't even going to keep talking. Go ahead and hit the first clip, Billy.
Let's roll the first.
Go ahead, Billy. Hit it.
One thing that stuck out, I think what made me really fuck with you was when you really got into when black people kill black people, we don't march.
Yeah.
There's no protesting. When you see on NBC and ABC and CNN that a little kid was shot in Chicago or in Fort Worth, Texas, or in St. Louis or in these inner cities, when a white cop kills a black young man, we marching, we rioting. But when an innocent kid is killed, or when a popular artist like a Mo3 is killed by another black man, we don't march. And that shit really stuck with me, because people like to argue on Say Cheese that black on black violence isn't a thing.
I bet if you go talk to all the mothers who children and sons was killed by another black man, they would say otherwise. If you go to prison and you look at all the black men in prison that's in prison for violent crimes that's projected against other black people, but they're not violent toward the Mexicans. They're not violent toward the white people. So when you go to the schoolhouses and you look in the cafeterias at the schools from elementary to middle school and high school, you don't see blacks fighting whites. You hardly see whites fighting whites. It's black on black, right? So when I walk out of my doors as a black man born in America, as an American black man, when I walk out of my doors, my greatest threat is another black man who look like me. It's not a police officer who's gung-ho. It's not a racist police officer. It's not the Klansman. I got to first survive amongst the niggas and the black folks around me. I mean, it's sad that we tore up the country for George Floyd, right? We didn't have the backstory to who George Floyd was. All we had was a nigga that was being killed by the police, and we became outraged, and we said, we're not taking this no more. And then all of a sudden, we killing each other like never before. Like George Floyd, death never had an impact on us.
So it's a contradiction.
It was a major contradiction. And it gives us, it gives the black race a black eye, you know, in our fight, in our struggles, when we cry, we're being oppressed.
Do you support Black Lives Matter?
No, I do not support Black Lives Matter. I ain't fought in one bitch, let alone 3 gay bitches nowhere. And that ain't to disrespect the gay culture. I just think the man is supposed to lead. And Black Lives Matter, they don't fight a nigga with them child support arrears that's getting mistreated by the child support system. They ain't showing up in the courthouses Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, when a nigga going to court with the injustices of the court system. They wait to a ragged ass nigga like George Floyd, Mike Brown, Trayvon Martin, little disrespect for ass. They wait till people like that get killed, right? And then they come out and say, oh man, you ain't never seen the police kill a nigga with a pair of work boots on, have you? Police ain't never shot a nigga with his degree cap on, with his cap and gown. Police don't shoot niggas with their shirt tails tucked in, with them hard bottom shoes with a bow tie on. So the narrative is always they get behind a certain particular black man that they can push this divided. They conquer and divide is the method of Black Lives Matter, and they do a good job exploiting the black community.
Girl, I like him. I've been listening to him ever since he was on amazing.
Oh,
I forgot his name.
Jesse Peterson.
Yes. Yeah. See, when he was on there, I felt like he held his own.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And then I just like the way he speaks.
Yeah.
And because he's just so no filter.
Yeah.
And I think it's crazy. Like the one point that he did say was about, I'm scared of my own people.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nobody go to school. Like when you lived in the hood, you wasn't scared of that one or two white kids in school. You were scared of that one girl who's in your class picking on you all the time who looked just like you.
Mm-hmm. I liked what he said because there was a lot. One was the fact that he was talking about, how people always bring up black on black crime. Well, I don't know that he said that, but to me, I know that I had recently heard a clip where somebody was like, oh, they always try to point it back to black on black crime. You guys make little of it. That's why he said, go back to the mothers. They wouldn't feel that way.
Nope.
That lost their children to the hands of another black person. So you make light of one situation. And then he goes into talking about how they only get behind a certain type of black person. It's not Black Lives Matter for really black people that are doing things in life.
Yeah.
You don't see, and it's true.
Yeah.
That was like my number one thing. I was just like, wait a minute. And I've said this previously.
Yeah.
Everybody on this shirt is a criminal.
Right.
They are not law-abiding citizens. Period. They all have rap sheets. They all have a history of criminality.
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me Black Lives Matter, but I know that even during the riots, there was innocent black people that died, but you never heard anything about it.
Mm-mm. Like the one security guard?
Oh God, what is his name?
I don't know, but we should know his name.
Yeah, no.
Say his name. Say their name.
No, stop it. Officer Dorn.
Yeah. It was like on the tip of my tongue.
No, it wasn't. I'm just kidding. I don't know. But
no, because I was gonna say Doe.
Yeah.
I didn't say nothing. I thought it was a D too, yeah.
Yeah. But it's just it's terrible that black people will get behind stuff and they don't even know what it is.
Yep.
As long as it's in blackface, you will take the devil. As long as he's in a black suit, we're cool with it. Mm-hmm. We will hand clap anything saying that we made it. And it's like, what exactly are you standing for? What exactly did we make? Mm-hmm. How did we make it? Where? Because I don't see it. And it's like they're willing to tear down Candace and call her a coon. And same thing with Kanye. I mean, they were quick to come out with that, but it's just like you don't see it. You're quick to bash these two black people because you don't like the fact that they put on a White Lives Matter shirt. And for me, that was just like, I thought it was genius because I really think that the conversation needs to be had. They're so blinded to what's actually happening to white people in America. It's just like, it's amazing to me, you know? Yeah. And I like that he pointed out the fact that like, even when you talk to people that are in prisons, mm-hmm. that even in there, they don't do anything against other races. It's still only against black people. So it's like, it's not trying to be mean to your own people or be hateful against your own kind, but it's really just like, that's the reality of it. Y'all don't want to deal with reality. You're more comfortable with fiction.
Yeah. And you know what? It's sad mm-hmm. because the way that I see it is, first of all, they're almost like role models for black people. Like these people that were on the shirts, it's like, those were actually heroes. People look up to them. They don't know what their rap sheet is, right? Mm-hmm. But then there's smart people who do know the rap sheet. And then they say, well, this is black people. Like, that's our face. That's what they're criminals. Mm-hmm. The smart people look at that and say they're criminals. And the ones who don't know any better are just like, well, it's systematic racism. What do you expect me to do? I'm going to sell drugs. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That, like, it's crazy how it works. It is systematic in a way. This is why I say it, because it keeps black people acting out of character. And then it keeps white people looking at black people acting out of character. Mm-hmm. So
it's
then,
a vicious cycle.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then you have the blacks who don't sign up to that. And now it's like, oh, those people want to be white, mm-hmm. which in itself is so racist and so wrong because it's like, yeah. So I want to be white because I'm not going to sign up for this mm-hmm. to sit around and like show my body, because for us that's what we're supposed to do. We got to be like Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, like stripper wear is
It's black culture.
It's everyday wear now. You know what I mean? Like it would be like that's for the club. It's like it's everyday wear. You know, you go to the doctor's office, you're like, what? She thought she was going to the club. What is she wearing? You know what I mean? You're on the bus. Like I remember one time I was on the bus and the girl was wearing a see-through dress.
Yeah, which is kind of funny. I will loop back around to this towards the end of this video, but I will say that when it comes to black culture, like they always say, well, I can't say they always say, but when it's said how, you know, they try to steal our culture, they try to steal our culture. And it's like, wait a minute, if you look back in the past, we didn't behave like that.
Nope.
We didn't behave like animals that didn't have no sense, where we were disrespectful and didn't have no dignity, no pride, no honor. We didn't behave that way. This culture that you adopted has been fed to you.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
That is not black culture.
Nope. It's not.
And it's so sad that now what was black culture, that even during the worst times in slavery, that marriages were held together, that families were growing strong and we were prosperous, even through all of that. We don't have that no more. And now we've adopted something that is so disgusting.
I ain't adopted.
No, well, I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah, society.
Yeah, girl, I could go on a rant. Like even what they did in the Smithsonian Museum, where they said what was signs of like white, what was it called? White, I can't think of it. It's like white supremacy or, you know, the patriarchy or whatever.
The new anti-racism, a new anti-white racism is so explicit that it's become actually part of the teaching of the Smithsonian Institute. That's one of the world's most famous museums. Its National Museum of African American History in Washington has now made up a graphic listing what it claims are aspects and assumptions of whiteness and white culture in the United States. Even for the race warriors, because it also said, oh, you know, these whites believe in hard work and time schedules and looking after their nuclear family. And now the black activists are complaining, what, you mean you're saying that we don't believe in hard work and we don't keep appointments on time and we don't believe in the scientific method? Or what, you're saying we're primitive? I mean, I think it's suddenly sprung a leak. This is another example, I guess, of the Cultural Revolution eating its own.
And they were saying things like being on time is a white person thing.
Wow.
You know, having structure and discipline are white people things. And the white man has fooled black people. So if you find yourself behaving in this, it's because of the white patriarchy. I'm just like, this is the most racist thing. This is the most ignorant thing I've ever in a museum.
Yeah. And it sucks because it just goes back to just feeding that and having people look at us in a negative light, and then we look ourselves in a negative light and we're like, yeah, that's us.
Yeah, like look at what we co-signed.
Yeah.
That we are too stupid and incapable to have voter ID. Like, you know, voter suppression because black people can't get IDs. I mean, how low do you think of your own people?
And
you
there are
want to
people,
call me the racist?
There's people who really feel like that.
I know there are.
Yeah, because it's like, no, they're right. It is racist. Really? Like, who don't have internet? Who don't have a phone? Like, where we live in Dominican Republic?
Yeah, I don't know. It's wild.
Central Sama?
But it's wild what many will co-sign on. But to go into the next video, I like how Candace pretty much broke it down. Well, really the comment of what Kanye had to say concerning all of it, which I thought was a beautiful comment. I was like, you ain't got to say nothing more than that.
And people are upset. They're very upset about that. They're going, why on earth? How could you? How dare you wear this shirt? How dare you make a mockery of the BLM movement? In addition to this, in case you missed it on Kanye West's Instagram page, he wrote this: everyone knows that Black Lives Matter was a scam. Now it's over. You're welcome. That is the only response, or the only thing that he has said publicly about wearing the T-shirt. And
now, in a video that's been taken down on YouTube since, you have Alicia Garza, who's one of the leaders of Black Lives Matter, chiming in. Like, they're all sitting around, they're talking about the controversy that's been brewing about this home. And she says, y'all don't know anything about what it takes to live in a box here. But let's talk about the house that's being referred to as a box. None of the women acknowledged that the house was far from a box, with more than 6,500 square feet, more than half a dozen bedrooms and bathrooms, several fireplaces, a soundstage, a pool, and bungalow, and parking for more than 20 cars, according to real estate listings. The California property was purchased for nearly $6 million in cash in October of 2020, with money that had been donated to the Black Lives Matter Global Network Fund. So I keep referring to it as the national chapter, but this is really like the international chapter of Black Lives Matter. This is the organization that received all this money in the form of donations, and it was a lot of money. So let's get into those details. In October of 2020, the organization received an infusion of $66.5 million from its fiscal sponsor, an intermediary commonly used by fledgling nonprofits to process donations. Now, let's pause for a second. That money flowed in because of the George Floyd story, because of the fact that George Floyd was murdered. People were furious about it, as they should have been, and they wanted to take action. And one of the ways people felt they were taking action was by donating money to the Black Lives Matter, fund. And so they get this infusion of money, more than $66 million. And then some of this timing when it comes to the home purchase is concerning, right?
The movement that is catapulted into the limelight has forgotten about Ferguson and the freedom fighters. Freedom fighters like King D. Seals, Edward Crawford, and Kanye Jones have literally given their lives to the struggle, but rarely spoken about and families are not taken care of. Brother Ali, Joshua Williams, and many other political prisoners from the Ferguson movement are incarcerated or have been and still has received no assistance from Black Lives Matter. What kind of movement are we building where we're saying Black Lives Matter, but the freedom fighters and the families are being left behind? Where is our restitution? Where is our organizing? Where is our building of a movement? We have groups like the Lost Voices and the Freedom Fighters here, and thousands of other youth activists in their 20s and 30s have been out in the streets protesting for months and months and years for years. Still forgotten.
And Tory Russell has since been struggling to raise $1.2 million for a community center. It's one of his goals. They shouldn't be walking around no black people, he says, no black communities. He said of the organizers' leaders, they should be somewhere in shame. Now, again, that's Tory Russell's words, not mine. And his frustration is shared by other activists that are, mentioned in the context of the New York Magazine piece that Sean Campbell has written. So final thing I wanna mention is the alleged retaliation against journalists or reporters who share this story. Conversations on the BLM Security Hub chat show efforts to monitor social media for negative mentions of BLM GNF, with members using their influence with the platforms to have such remarks removed. It's currently not possible, for instance, to share the New York Post's article on Colors' home purchases on Facebook because the site's parent company, Meta, has labeled the content abusive. At other points, Shalomia Bowers and his associates direct a private investigator to look into BLM GNF detractors and journalists, including me, writes Sean Campbell. It's a form of intimidation. It's a way of trying to prevent reporters and journalists from sharing this story, which I think is wrong. Any organization to run smoothly, you need to have a system of accountability in place. You need transparency. And unfortunately, those two things were really missing from this whole equation.
Wow. So much more information that I had. Like, I knew it was a scam because even when the donations were happening, when Black Lives Matter, I almost gave. I almost did it. I did. I was like, yeah, man, this is wrong. I was a little sold. And then I think
I'm sorry, I'm looking at you crazy.
No, it's okay. But I remember you and I were talking back then too in reference to it, Mm-hmm. And I went to the Black Lives Matter website and I seen that I was like
where it went to like @blue or whatever.
@blue, that's what it was.
And it's a Democrat.
Right. And I was like, oh, that's when I knew it was a scam. And it actually had a breakdown of how much money each person got. Yeah. And I was like, what? But wow, they got that money in October and homegirl just went. She just went and bought the house cash. You didn't even let the ink dry. I wonder if the ink was dry. October, she bought the house. October, they got that money. And the saddest thing, and you know what? I be paying attention to things that don't really make sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
How come those guys were standing in front of a green screen? Like, they could have put something behind that. Like, the whole time I was like, what? Did they forget? Like, why did you even stand in front of the green screen? My bad. My bad. You know I had to throw something in there.
You do. You'd be like, oh my goodness. She didn't see that dust before she recorded that video? Like,
but that was one thing that I found very interesting. And the fact that those people are still in jail. Like I told you earlier, I'd be singing like a canary. Okay?
Yeah. I mean, to me, I didn't even know about the whole situation with Ferguson. And he's talking, when I heard that, I was like, Ferguson, wait a minute. That was when they first came on the scene. You're talking about from 2014? Y'all still back there? And I'm thinking, how wicked. Because it reminds me of what we were talking about in the last video. Or it may not have been the last one, where it says, like, aren't these the people that exploit you? You see that they were willing to do that to the black people that they cared about so much, that we would use you knowing that it's all for our own gain. Mm-hmm. And then when it came around another, election year, to pull out these people and use their ignorance as a weapon. And I know that I keep repeating it, but because we don't know history, we could be looking at something and not see it at all. The KKK wasn't just a group of white people that hated black people. They were literally like a militant arm.
Now, you have Democrats on the other side who have been very racist. It's in their platforms. They support the Dred Scott decision. They think the fugitive slave law is great. They started a nation to keep slavery alive. Very racist. And so now they're facing a situation where that these blacks are now their rulers, are now in office, are now U.S. senators, are now U.S. How do you stop that? 1866, Democrats themselves started the Ku Klux Klan. Its purpose was not to kill blacks. Its purpose was to take control and return Democrats to power. Now, if you're looking for a Republican that you want to take care of, you can wipe out any black you want because they're 100% Republicans at that point in time. You can't wipe out any white. I mean, some whites might be Democrats. You got to be a little more judicious when you're wiping out whites. So what happens is the Ku Klux Klan starts attacking, not blacks, Republican conventions.
That's no different than what BLM and Antifa is. But because you don't know your history, you only expect to see skinheads wearing white hoods, and you don't realize that they're exactly the same. They just look different. I mean, I do want to go into like the whole mission of Black Lives Matter, but I think it was beautiful that he just came out and was like, they're a fraud. It's over. You're welcome. You know what I mean? Like, it was never what they sold you. It was never that. And so many people bought into it. So I thought it took a lot of guts, but it was very beautiful that they were willing to stand up and do what they did, because we need that. We
took balls.
Yeah, we need more black faces.
Yeah.
To really stand up for truth.
Yeah.
And say, okay, listen, it's not pretty, but we need to have these tough conversations so that we don't continue in the cycle. Something has to be broken.
And you know what's so funny?
What?
I just thought about it. That was a picture that they took, right? Everybody's okay. Black Lives Matter. Let's go ahead and burn everything down and people dying and everything. This is a picture that they took with shirts on. I just think it's crazy. Do you know what I mean? Like the outrage. There's an outrage.
Yeah.
There was no outrage when people were burning stuff down. It's like, we have to do this. We got to do whatever it takes. Y'all see a picture, everybody just bugging the heck out. Like, that's all they did. Like, you would think they was out there with a whole bunch of white people and they was just looking for black people and stuff. Like, they had a shirt.
Yeah. But to go back to kind of what I was saying earlier, as far as like black people will stand behind just about anything as long as it's in blackface. So with that, we'll just roll into the next video.
I don't know how many people really look into the mission statement of Black Lives Matter, but I did. And when you look into it, there's a couple things that jump out to me. And I'm a black man who's been black, and my life has mattered since 1974. And this organization was founded in 2013. I'm proud of you. But I've been fighting this fight for me and for others a lot longer. Two things. My family structure is so vital, important to me. Not only the one I grew up in, but the one I'm trying to create right now. Being a father and a husband, that's my mission in life right now. How do I reconcile that, what I just told you, with this mission statement that says, quote, we dismantle the patriarchal practice. We disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure requirement. When I know statistics, when I know my reality, forget statistics. I knew this before I even went to Columbia and saw these same statistics that I'm going to read to you right now. That children from single-parent homes versus two-parent homes. The children from the single-parent homes, this is in 1995 I was reading this. 5 times more likely to commit suicide, 6 times more likely to be in poverty, 9 times more likely to drop out of high school, 10 times more likely to abuse chemical substances, 14 times more likely to commit rape, 20 times more likely to end up in prison, and 32 times more likely to run away from home. I knew that. You know why I knew it? Because a lot of my friends didn't have family structures that were nuclear like mine, and they found themselves outside of their dreams and goals and aspirations. So when I see that, or as a mission statement for Black Lives Matter, it makes me scratch my head. When I also see their mission is to eradicate white supremacy. In 2020, white supremacy is the mission. Woo, that's a lot of digging through minutia right there. I am on a show that I'm hosting along with another black guy who is hosting with me, who replaced another black guy. And that's just one example of it. So I understand, I respect your space. I respect what you're protesting for. But will you respect others who don't support that same protest?
This is what I find to be very, very important.
Menugerie. Sorry, I just had to say.
Minutia?
Minutia.
Oh.
I made up a whole new word.
Yeah, you did.
Menugerie. Yeah, I'm down at the menugerie. All right, good.
Anyway, dang it. Why do you
I'm
do
sorry,
this?
girl.
Okay, so they like to say, well, you're a part of a cult.
Mm-hmm.
You're in a cult. You're in a cult. Because I think different from you. Mm-hmm. So I'm the crazy one. But the interesting thing to me is will you stop for a moment and say, let me look into this. And if it doesn't agree with what I believe, are you willing to walk away from it? Mm-hmm. Or do you feel like you can't? Because as much as they like to say that we're in a cult, mm-hmm. because, you know, we love Trump. I don't know why people love Trump the way they do. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's that cult behavior. It's like, okay, like, y'all can't even think, even imagine ever voting for a Republican. You know, you're stuck where you're Democrat and you have to be Democrat and it's only Democrat and whatever that comes out of their mouth, that's what you're going to fall with or align yourself with. I was actually looking at this clip where this guy, 2 reporters, one of them is like really all the way left, right? Mm-hmm. And some of the stuff that he says, I'd be like, my God, you can't be that stupid. You can't be that stupid. Stop it. Stop it right now. And when a report had came out concerning COVID, he was like, you know, it would have been nice if they would have said this to us like a year ago, that what we were doing. And he goes into it and the guy goes, but we did. And he goes, yeah. I mean, okay, I know that it was said. He goes, but it was really important that like Democrats said it. And I was like, wait a minute.
That's crazy.
Truth is truth.
No matter where it comes from.
No matter where it comes from. Mm-hmm. But you're not going to believe it unless Pelosi says it.
Those who are in the healthcare delivery and security issues.
To be clear, you're not taking any arrows out of your quiver. You're not ruling anything out.
Good morning. Sunday morning. We have a responsibility. We take an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. Good morning. Sunday morning. We have a responsibility.
But you know what? It takes a lot to be self-aware. Mm-hmm. Self-aware that you're even closed-minded. Because, you know, I've been closed-minded in my life. Mm-hmm. And it's a slap in the face to find out you're
it is a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah. So it's like it takes a lot. And only recently have I honestly, and I'm just being honest, I have realized that I'm definitely one of a kind. Because if you tell me I'm wrong, you know what I mean? Like I'm like, okay, wait. Man, you're right, I am wrong. You know what I mean? But that sucks to admit you're wrong. And have it like that.
But you don't stay there though.
But see, that's the thing. Not everybody's cut like that. Like I didn't know that I'm different. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. A lot of people are not cut that way. They need to be right. They need to stay right and die like that. I know people who will die with secrets just to stay on top. For what? You don't grow, you don't learn. You know, and in reference to this guy, where he said the mission statement, I mean, that mission statement is crazy. And the statistics that he said, I'm sorry, yo, I come from a single parent home. I definitely ran away. I did some substance abuse. Like, what the heck?
You know what's crazy?
It's a little depressing to hear all the things.
No, but what's crazy is that Obama actually quoted those stats.
Children who grow up without a father are 5 times more likely to live in poverty and commit crime. They're 9 times more likely to drop out of school, 20 times more likely to end up in prison. They're more likely to have behavioral problems or run away from home or become teen parents because the father wasn't in the home. The foundations of our community and our country are weaker because of this.
No, that is crazy. But the crazier part is that I've experienced, I feel like I don't know how many he named, but if he named like 10, I was like 7.
No, but truth is truth.
Yeah.
You know, anytime you bring that up, like I actually recently saw this one clip of this chick talking about why Candace always got to bring up fatherless tones. It ain't just that. It's also this. And I'm thinking, Mama, I get your point based off of your experience, and I agree with that 100%. And I believe that Candace would too, because she has talked about illegal immigration and how it directly impacts the Black community. Anybody that's following anything, I mean, truly knows that. They know that. But when we're talking about where it started and how it has moved, it's even gone to the place where it started with the Black family. And once it did what it did there, they said that when white people picked it up, the same traits that they found in the broken family, the broken Black families, they found the same traits in broken white families. It is what it is. You know, so to sit there and negate or act like it doesn't matter, no, it does matter. It really does. So if that's your what is it? What was it he called it? Your mission statement.
Mission.
What exactly are you promoting?
Yeah. I mean, regardless on how you want to cut it, you need both of them. I mean, a child, you know, you could be strong and everything, but you will always feel like you have that part missing when you don't have your other half there, your parent there. And it does give you a sense of like unworthiness, like, and that affects who you become and how you behave with other people. Unless you're self-aware, you say, you know what, these behaviors are not acceptable. We need to go ahead and figure out how to fix it. Like I said, not everyone's self-aware.
But one thing I noticed, and I would love to talk about it because I really want to talk about how the man is so vital and they are so important in the lives of children. But before we move on into our next clip, I will say that being a single mom, the one thing that I noticed is that when their dad came around, I saw a side of them that I had never seen. And it didn't even have to be just their dad. When a male figure stepped in their sphere, you know, like I remember when my homeboy Lamar, when he came to visit me, we get out the car after going grocery shopping, and I'm used to getting all the bags out of the car. So I get out the car and the boys are starting to walk back to the house. And he's like, wait a minute, where y'all think y'all going? Come back over here and get these bags.
Okay.
And my heart just like melted. I was like, oh my gosh, I never get them bags, you know, like to be able to see that, because I had been away from it for so long. You don't realize you can be a strong woman. Absolutely. But I think that there's certain things that men bring to the picture. They are so needed. And it is a beautiful thing. They really carry something unique and beautiful, just like the mother does, you know? Yeah. So they both are needed. And the fact that they want to tear this down, and the fact that Black people are getting behind it, like, don't even care what their end goal is, that they're exploiting other Black people, that they've, you know, they were only out for personal gain, living lavishly on the backs of other people, throwing them away. And then their mission and goal and what they want to do doesn't benefit the Black community at all. You just heard where the dude was like, we can't even raise $1.2 million.
Out of $60 million, you mean to tell me you couldn't? And that's the thing that really upsets me. Like, I get y'all was scamming, but y'all could have gave a little bit of that money up. Like, nah, I'm just being honest. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. But when
they
could have
done. I get that. But, you know, you could afford that big of a house. And then didn't they talk about all the stuff that they spent it on, escorts and...
Yeah. Do you want to roll that clip? Because I do have it.
Oh, I thought...
It's not in this one, but I
Oh,
can
my
throw
bad.
it in there. Throw it
My
in
bad.
there.
Okay. Yeah, because like that's money y'all spend on escorts and strippers.
Roll it.
So Black Lives Matter released their 990 IRS filings. They collected $80 million. Where is that money?
It's not here. Everything looks worse than it was.
And here's where it gets really interesting. Ready for some BLM pride? Another $200K went to escorts, BDSM workers, strippers, peep show workers, phone sex operators, and webcam performers. And then at that moment, it became personal. And I thought, not only am I going to say the truth, I am going to scream the truth louder than you can scream the lies. It's incredible that the majority of the world hasn't seen this.
What's crazy is all these neighborhoods where they had the protests. I don't think that
absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, they haven't even been fixed. Like you could have at least like y'all suck. I mean, like if I just put it in a whole thing, y'all suck. Like y'all did all that. You couldn't have gave nothing back to the community, and you guys still want to sit here and total around Black Lives Matter,
right? That's the part that get me the most.
Yes.
And another thing that I've seen on top of the blind support for Black Lives Matter, it's just blind support. We don't know what they stand for. We don't care. Black skin, I'm down. Another thing that has emerged out of this is the racism that is accepted amongst Black people. And the fact that they really believe that it is impossible for them to be racist because they're Black, which is the dumbest thing that I've ever heard in my life. So I'd like to get into the next clip, which is going to show some of that racism. Instead of them saying, you know, the slurs towards white people, just change it with the most racist thing that a white person could say to a Black person. And just think in your mind, does this sound right?
It's not my place to even speculate on your divorce. It's none of my business. But how dare you, sir? How dare you come to your son's game at the NBA Finals with a snow bunny? You shouldn't have done that, Mr. Curry. I'm not condemning you. I'm not throwing you under the bus, sir. I'm simply saying it's a bad look for a man in your position to leave, to have ended a marriage. I'm not blaming you for the marriage. I don't know. That's none of my business. I'm simply saying that you were in a marriage with a Black woman, and we now see you in public with a white woman. I want to add a disclaimer because I have no proof that that white woman was his snow bunny. But I did see you hug her a couple of times. It could have been an innocent, platonic hug. I don't know. But by the looks of it, it appeared to be intimate.
So this is the accepted racism. Could you imagine if a white dude came out and said, Billy, now I don't know what's going on with you and Shaquisha. Now I don't know, because I'm just putting it out there that I don't know. But I seen you hug her more than once coming in here with
and
this
it's
ninja.
not my business.
With this ninja. I mean, I don't know if she's your ninja or not. I'm like, what is this? And that's okay. You can be online saying that. And the funny thing is that if you type in White Lives Matter on TikTok or anything, nothing comes up. Nothing comes up.
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter, we got millions of hashtags for that. But you can't say White Lives Matter. But it's okay for you to get on the internet and be this ignorant. And this isn't the only one. There was one chick. I wanted to put her video in there, but the Lord was like, no. But I mean, it's infuriating because people are people. You know what I mean? We are all created by God. You know, for you to, it has nothing to do with the skin color. And I wish people would really get that. It really has everything to do with the likeness of mind. If we do not think the same, we will not like each other.
Period.
It doesn't matter. That's why it does not matter. I could guarantee that there were 1 million white people in his comments that probably agreed with him.
Because they're crazy. My whole thing is, how you going to start a video? Say, it's none of my business. That's it. Done. Done.
Should have hit stop right there.
Done. Because look, if I'm going to talk shit, I'm going to talk shit. Obviously, it's none of your business, sir. Obviously. And a snow bunny. Now, I don't know the situation. I don't have proof.
Nope.
But
it looked a little bit more than friendly.
And you hugged her twice?
What?
Like he's sitting there looking at the freaking stands instead of watching the game. Sir, what was the score? You know what, though? I'm mad because the white slur sound real cute.
The what?
The white slur?
The snow bunny?
Yeah, it sound mad cute. It's a white woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking like she liked to ski. Snow bunny.
Okay, so we're going to move on into the next clip. and in this stream, I want to show that there is something that is taking place in our country. And I don't know if you're aware of it, but I just want to shine a little light on it.
The results of the 2020 census just came out, and for the first time in American history, the number of white people went down.
If the white person, oh yes, they white get their ass. Hurry up, bitch up. Hey, they beating up every white person. They jumping every white person. Man, no white person come down Sherman. He white. Beat his shit, bitch. That's what it's for.
This morning, the Minneapolis School District is sticking with its controversial policy to lay off white teachers before minority ones, regardless of tenure. Previously, district-wide layoffs used to be handed out based on seniority. In March, the Minneapolis Teachers Union negotiated a contract with the district that states non-white people can be exempted from layoffs.
That's nuts. That is nuts. You know, that's nuts. I'm sorry. That really just that's so unfair. It's not even right. No, it's exactly the same thing as the KKK. At first, when you first said it, I was like, no, girls, that's different. But better not know white people come down.
Better not come down Sherman.
You better not come down here. Oh, they beating them all up and they're over there laughing.
Like the fact that you're yelling out to hurt white people, pull them out of the car. Get him. There's a white boy right there. Go get him. Could you imagine if it was a black person? There's a ninja right there. Go get him. It's the same thing. And then you're talking about, you know, the fact that they're celebrating that there's not that many white people. That, you know, that the population is decreasing. Even it was Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah.
It was like, wait a minute.
Right.
We're celebrating this, you know, and then now
while at a white person's show,
you know, but now we're talking about people losing their jobs.
Oh, no, they're real.
Like, I understand that you've been with us for 20 years. And I know that she's only been with us for 2 months. But
she's black.
You know?
And you're white.
Right.
You'll figure it out. You know, she can't, though.
You're going to
because she's black.
anyways. Right.
Like, the whole thing is racist.
It's wrong.
And you know what? It's scary. You know, because just as ignorant as some black people could be, there's going to be white people who are going to be ignorant. Or I don't know if it's already happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where they want to do the same thing that they're doing.
Yeah.
Because we got ignorant people on both. Like it's not a black thing.
And I just want to say, if anybody's looking at this and saying, "Oh, well, it's about time," 2 wrongs don't make a right. I hate that excuse that they did it, so why can't we do it?
Yeah, I don't like that whole like they did it, so we should do it.
Yeah.
I mean, that means you don't care about people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like your moral high ground is gone. It's diminished.
Yeah.
The moment that you're like, oh, it's tit for tat.
Yeah.
We've been going through this. It's about time that they get a taste of their own medicine. That's revenge.
Not only that, they're talking about back in, before the civil rights movement. Because that's when you could literally be like, yeah, they was pulling people out and out of school. That has not happened. So now you're doing it. Why?
Yeah. And the fact that they're okay with it, I think it's sad because you would not be justifying it if you weren't black. You're okay with it because you think you're safe. But the moment that it touches you, you would find it to be unjust.
Yeah.
If you were born white, something that you had no control over, nobody had any control over. Nobody was in the womb talking about, I'm going to go, yeah, I like that shade. That shade right there, Dad. That one right there. Do that one. Nobody got to choose.
Nope.
So because you were born black or born white, now you have to, it's okay one way or the other as long as it doesn't affect you. I think it's totally wrong and it's selfish.
It is.
That you could sit back as a black person and be like, yeah, sounds good to me.
It's about time.
It sounds, above board. I like it. It's wicked.
It is.
Yeah. So with that, Oh no, but you gonna say something?
I was just gonna say y'all gotta check yourself. You
Absolutely.
need to really think about the fact that you're okay with people, innocent people at that, getting hurt. So I mean, me personally, I seen videos of, I think it was this young boy by himself getting beat up with a skateboard over his head. Then I seen these elderly white people getting hit with some big old sticks. Make it black. And how would you feel if that was your mom, your brother? Like, that's somebody's brother, mom, sister. Like, why can't we do this in a non-violent way? If you want to get back, why don't you get back and get degrees, get good jobs, be good parents? That's how you get revenge. Not more violence in the streets.
Yeah, that's not going to do it. No. And speaking of violence in the streets, I came across this old documentary, or I guess a video of all the civil rights leader together having a conversation, and I was so taken by it. So we're just going to roll into that clip now.
I would like to make this point because I think there is a misconception that any white people who happen to serve on your boards or committees are therefore automatically there to exercise control and restraint. Yeah. This is not the experience of the Urban League. There are many white people who serve on our boards who are asking for more militancy. I speak for the National Urban League at their insistence, not at my demanding, because they feel that a Negro is best able to express the hopes and the longings of his people.
We ought to be clear that there is a desire on the part of Negroes for self-expression through leadership of civil rights organizations. This is important because Negroes have been denied that self-expression for so many years. But this does not mean, in any sense of the word, as far as I'm concerned, that white persons who are sincere cannot participate and cooperate.
Exactly. And I think it's very important to have this participation. I think it would be very dangerous and even tragic if the struggle in the United States for civil rights degenerated to a racial struggle of blacks against whites, so to speak. Amen. It is a tension between justice and injustice, and we enlist consciences in the struggle. We appreciate the participation in this movement of white persons of goodwill, and we have many of them, fortunately, and I think the number's growing every day, and this helps to keep the struggle on the level that it should be on. Sure.
I think what we need to get at here is if we could get the total society to somehow lose this making a god of state rights and begin to see citizens as national citizens. Right. Because what's actually happened in this country is much of the miseducation, lack of education altogether, much of the social disorganization we see in the North that concerns us can directly be traced back to the indifference of the people in the North to the problems of the South. These people later become the welfare load, the crime rate of the North. If we had adopted the concept of a citizen in Mississippi being a citizen of the United States, then we would have avoided all these problems. That's the way they're seen overseas.
I thought that video was absolutely beautiful.
I thought so too.
Because this is what black culture was.
Yeah. Sexy men.
Right?
Oof.
And intellectuals.
Right?
I mean, I love their speech, just everything about it. I was just like, wow.
Yeah.
You know, like, where did it go? But I like where he said that because they were saying things basically, oh, you're just a token for the white man. And he was like, no, there's a misconception. You guys think that we are demanding to be put out here. He goes, no, they have partnered with us. And they say, who is better to speak to your community than you? Mm-hmm. So they said, listen, we'll back you guys all the way, but we want you to take the lead. There was always that white partnership. There was always, and even Martin Luther King said, it would be a shame if this dropped or boiled down to race. It's about justice and injustice. And look what they've turned it to.
Race.
You know, they've turned it right into race. When it wasn't about that for them. Mm-hmm. But again, because we don't know our history, we think, I have a dream. For some reason, it meant only for black people.
Right.
He said, no, I have a dream that you would look at people for the content of their character, not the color of their skin. And they've done quite the reverse. And it's the oddest thing. But I love at the end when the guy said, I like how other places have adopted, and it would be nice if we could do that here in America. Mm-hmm. When he talks about the person in Mississippi, that they would be seen as a citizen of the United States. American. If we could pin everything down and just say, listen, cut out all this racial stuff and let's just be American, because that's what you are. Yeah. You are a citizen of this country and you should be treated as such.
And you know what? I think it was something that you said a while back, I don't know when, that the Black community is very, very influential.
Absolutely.
And that's why they filter everything through the Black people. Community. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because where we're at is because Black people have such a voice and such an impact.
We shape culture.
We really do. Mm-hmm. And I think it's so crazy how they're winning just by infiltrating us and telling us what to think. Mm-hmm. But if we really looked at what's going on, I mean, we could change everything that's going on.
Small group. But if we turned it in the other direction, we would shake the world. I mean, it's unbelievable. And I think that is a gift that has been freely given.
That's what you were
by
saying.
God to Black people.
Yes.
That you do have that influence.
Yes.
And they see it.
They
do. See it and they know it. So they use it for their own means instead of actually doing something that would benefit Black people, to encourage Black people to do good things that would impact the world in a positive light. No. Absolutely not.
And I think, as viewers, you guys should really think about that. The fact that Black people are very influential and they're just using you guys. They're just using you guys. Yeah. And you guys are just biting it. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy. It's always been crazy for me for white people to be part of it. Like, I just thought that's weird.
Well, no, I mean, it's just, what do you mean as far as being part of it?
Like, being the whole Black Lives Matter. Like, why wouldn't you tell your friend, well, look, I'm not the enemy. We both need to fight together. You know what I mean? They're like, no, oh my God, yes, I want to be, what is it? I want to be invited to the cookout.
Yeah.
And guess what? You still not invited. No, I'm just playing. I know I'm talking shit. I'm so sorry. I totally veered off. But, I did like they were very well spoken. Mm-hmm. I love that about them. And I also feel like we need to start waking up and really talking, because like you just said, if we all get together and really talk and really unite and stop this Black Lives Matter, White Lives Matter. No, we all matter. We're all Americans. That's why you got people coming from other countries, different skin tones, saying, I'm from this country.
Proud to be Americans.
Right. You know what I mean? You got people coming from other countries that, oh my gosh, this one guy, he, I don't know if he's a rapper or nothing. I don't know, but he came from some other Africa, and he's really dark. Mm-hmm. And he said, you know what? I came to America. I didn't know I was Black. So I thought I was just African.
Uh-huh.
But I came here, they let me know I was Black. Uh-huh. And he just started making a whole bunch of jokes. And the only reason I'm bringing that up is just that here in America, you get indoctrinated as soon as you get here. Like, hey, listen, buddy. Mm-hmm. I know you're from Africa, but we're all Black here, okay?
Yeah. I so want to do this for another video, but basically they're saying that like Latinos are leaving the Democrat Party in droves, right? And that's why Democrats are so trying to reach for them, because they haven't been brainwashed to stay with them. You don't own us. You gotta show us what you're gonna offer us, and if you ain't gonna offer us nothing, we gonna go with the other guy that can. A lot of Democrats are born into it.
That's true. That's so true.
But when you're coming from another country, like we're like, no, I want to hear what y'all got to say, and we're going to talk about it. And that's why, as a matter of fact, I think I can find the clip and I'll insert it here.
I'm going to let you in on something. The Democrats just think that they're entitled to the Latino vote. They think that we just have to hand it over to them. That's right. We sure as hell don't. Así mismo. They got to show us what they can do for us, what they can do for our communities. We're not going to buy the same wolf tickets and false promises that destroyed great countries like Venezuela and Cuba. It's not going to happen. You know what else is not going to work for them? Playing Despacito on your cell phone to pander to us. Hell no. You got to give us some credit for having heads on our shoulders.
Despacito,
Despacito. Like you think that's?
Oh, I got something to say.
And the way that he turned around, he was like, yeah, they gonna love it. I'm gonna kill it with this. Listen, you talking to the wrong group.
Okay. Because we will die on this hill.
You know what I mean? Like, ain't no way you are not gonna play that song and think we gonna be like, ay, me gusta.
Right.
Democrat. Like, no, absolutely not.
Well, one thing I want to say is that what a lot of people don't realize here in the United States is a lot of Latinos come from communist, socialist countries.
Yeah.
So they don't care how you split it. They've seen that before.
Y'all gotta wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. You know, we can't keep standing behind things that don't really benefit the Black community at all. And then thinking that you have to fight on behalf of these people that have done so much wicked and wrong. Like, y'all really still gonna stomp for them after all of this? It's just ridiculous. But to get to the verse that I want to do for the day, it's coming out of Romans chapter 7. I'm going to start at verse 10.
It is hot in here.
It's very hot. I found that the very commandment that was intended to bring life actually brought death. For sin, seizing the opportunity afforded by the commandment, deceived me, and through the commandment put me to death. So then, the law is holy, and the commandment is holy, righteous, and good. Did that which is good then become death to me? By no means. Nevertheless, in order that sin might be recognized as sin, it used what is good to bring about my death, so that through the commandments, sin might become utterly sinful. Now, when I saw that, I was just like, Dad, it's just amazing, because truth is truth. The enemy took what was good in the hearts of man, because it's love. We want to love people.
At the end of the day,
We want to love people, but he took the sin that was in man and perverted that love. And in the process of what you thought was a good thing, end up bringing out death. Nothing that they have said that they have done in the name of love has ever produced life. I don't care. You could pick anything that they've championed behind in the name of love. All of it has ultimately led to death. Yes. Every last one. And not only that, what they're willing to do in the name of love is, I mean, just wicked and sinful. What did he say? To be... that it might become utterly sinful.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the things that they have done in the name of love and protecting people and so forth, for what, it's utterly sinful, and you really get to see it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I just thought that was very interesting. So people, it's not that we're not saying that you're not loving or you're not attempting to be loving, but the attempts of love to do it apart from God, righteousness and justice, true goodness, it's just perverted. It's perversion all the way through. You know, the fact that it's now come to this point that in the attempt to be fair to Black people, now you've become the very thing that you claim to hate.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's sad, and it hurts our country, it hurts our people, because then you got people like us. I mean, like I had to get over it, but it's sad that I can't really connect with people, because it's like, oh, you just trying to be white. Like, I could never be white, you know? And there's so many people like us where it's like you just want to connect. But at the end of the day, you got your morals and the things that you believe in. You're not going to let that down just to be friends with you. Sorry, I guess I can be your friend. You know what I mean? But it sucks, and it's sad. So I feel like it's really affecting everyone.
Yeah.
Because even the ones that are for Black Lives Matter and they really feel passionate about it, they're hurting.
Yeah.
Because Black Lives Matter didn't give them no money. So they're still fighting, and they're sad because they're still struggling.
Yeah.
You know, and then you got white people who feel bad because they're white.
Yeah.
And then you got other white people who are just being bullied at school or just being
losing their jobs.
Losing their job. Like, that's crazy. That clip right there, like, are you kidding me?
No.
Like, you mean to tell me I've been here for, I don't even know, 10 years, seen a whole bunch of kids grow up, and I'm going to be let go before this person who's been here for 6 months because she's Black. And you know what's crazy? I knew a group of people who would just put people on blast. It was like a website. It was a page. That's what it was. It was a page, and they would just go around, and anybody they found in town that was doing something, they put them on blast, put their address online and everything.
Doxed them. Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, for a while I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna tell anybody I like Trump. Right. Come to my
but
house.
It's that good that they think that they're doing.
Yeah.
That sin crept in just to show that it was utterly sinful.
It is.
You can't love apart from God. I'm sorry.
No.
Absolutely not.
You can't really hate anyone and say you love God.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? People do bad things and everybody pays for their sins. Everybody does. But it's not your job to make sure that they pay. When you make it your job, you're now saying, I'm God. And you're not.
So thank you for tuning in to our show. We hope that you enjoyed it. And what is the goal?
The goal is to break the image of tradition
while showing the beauty of walking in wisdom,
bringing the raw and keeping it 100.
Doop, doop. With Christ at the center, you're either going to hate it or love it.
You literally took my line.
I did. Doop, doop, doop.
Bye,
whatever. See you guys next week.
Sorry for hanging up on you earlier.
That's okay. I hung up on you a couple of times. I'm on my period.
Oh.
Yeah, don't mess with me today. Okay, now we're back.
Wow, that money.
You're not going to do that. Absolutely not.
You threw me all the way off.
I'm
like,
sorry. You do it to me all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll be talking to you, but like, remember, but not for nothing. It'd be like something way off in left field.
I don't say that.
Whatever.
Not for nothing, though. That no, I'm just like $900,000. Sharon, you could have sent that money over here. I'd have done something good with it. Bought me a house. You know, a nice little 1,000 square foot. Okay, 2,000 square foot. She would have given me $900. I would have nice.
$900. You ain't gonna do nothing with that. What are you talking about?
I keep saying that. Every time I say it, I'm like, yo, hold up. This don't even sound like a lot of money.
You can't even pay your rent with $900.
I'm sweating too, girl.
Girls,
my bangs.
It's all in here.
My bangs. All right.
No, but just for the bloopers, because I know you can be like, why they keep doing that? Okay, listen, because the weather is being real funny up here. It was freezing the other day. We turned the AC off, right? And then yesterday and today, it is hot. And we still don't have the AC on. So
I'm so hot. Let's go to the next one. Whatever we gonna do.
Another thing that I've seen on top of the support. That's not even what I was going to say. What did I say?
You were saying, no.
You weren't even listening. No, but the crazy thing is that he don't even know the situation. You can't hug a white person? What is your problem?
I seen the hugs.
And you did
I
it
wasn't
more than
sure.
once.
So why are you making this video, bro? Yo, he sounds so petty. He sound petty as shit. I don't know, but I seen you.